I'm absolutely convinced that this arcade machine, Space Invaders, is not only the most important arcade machine ever made, it's the most important computer game ever made.
Across every platform in every country, this simple, low-res 2D shooting game showed the world how brilliant computer gaming could be.
Space Invaders isn't just an iconic arcade game. This little chappie has to be one of the most recognisable symbols on Earth. Originally, the game's inventor, Tomohiro Nishikado, wanted the marching enemy at the top of the screen to be human soldiers. But the game's manufacturers, Taito, didn't like the idea, thought that killing humans sent the wrong message, and so that concept was vetoed.
They tried tanks, fighter planes and battleships, but due to the limitations of the graphics at their disposal, Nishikado couldn't get the movements to be realistic. Finally, after reading about a movie called Star Wars, he settled on aliens as the enemy.
The game was first released in Japan in 1978, and it was an instant and massive success. Whole arcades open with nothing but these machines in them, and the game's nationwide success led to a shortage of the 100 yen coin. The beauty of Space Invaders lies in its simplicity. Look, at the bottom of the screen, I've got this spaceship here, which I move left to right. It's loaded with a big laser cannon, which I use to stop these marauding hordes of aliens coming down to land on my planet. That is it. In fact, why am I telling you this? Because everyone on Earth knows how to play Space Invaders.
In 1980, Space Invaders was licensed for the Atari 2600, and sales of the home console quadrupled overnight. From being king of the arcade, Space Invaders now became the first ever killer app console game.
I don't need to try and sell you Space Invaders. It's done that for itself to the tune of several £100 million worth of business worldwide. And it's ranked in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most successful arcade game ever.
Now, of the two of us, Jason is the proper gamer, which is why I believe deep down he knows that the real legend of the arcade is this, the incomparable Street Fighter. Let's rumble. When it was launched by Capcom in 1987, there were already several one-on-one personal combat games around. Indeed, the original Street Fighter looked very, very similar to the Konami fighting game 1-2 Kung Fu that had launched 2 years earlier. But the colours and characters leapt off the screen, and crucially there was a two-player mode which allowed you to control a character whilst fighting a character controlled by somebody else. Now, each character had their own signature moves, which were notoriously difficult to master, and sometimes a bit random. Oh! The original Street Fighter was a moderate success, but it was its successor Street Fighter 2, launched in '91, which really took the arcades by storm and, well, beat all the other fighting games on the market into submission and left them licking their wounds in a skip just round the corner. Street Fighter 2 is still, in my mind, the finest fighting game ever created by anyone, anywhere. The gameplay was much faster and smoother than the original, and there was a wider range of characters to choose from. And, most importantly, practice really did make perfect. Special moves like the 100-hand slap and the sonic boom could be learned properly and honed to perfection. In Street Fighter 2, head-to-head combat became the primary game mode. Unlike earlier combat games, playing Street Fighter 2 needed real skill, and queues formed at machines around the world as local champions took on all-comers, and a new breed of computer games geniuses was born. Street Fighter 2 moved onto the consoles and sold an incredible 14 million copies. Street Fighter 3 soon followed, and just last year, Street Fighter 4 shifted 116,000 copies on launch day in Japan. Now, the graphics may have gotten a lot slicker and faster, but it's that addictive head-to-head gameplay that still makes it a great game today. Street Fighter is so much more than just an arcade punch-up. It's the perfect model of how to construct a game. Hadouken!
Both very interesting stories, gentlemen. Hugely impressive as ever, but also as ever, a couple of questions. Now, Jason, on Space Invaders, I mean, a brilliantly successful and innovative icon, but it's never developed like the Street Fighter franchise has. Isn't it just nostalgia?
Franchise? Look, this isn't a chain of hamburger shops. This is video gaming history. Look, I know what you're trying to get at, but I don't think that something this classic needs to evolve. I think it's just exquisite the way it is. It's as playable now as it was right back then in 1978.
So you can't improve on it, is what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Street Fighter, Osis. I mean, marvellous the way it continues to evolve. It's never had that universal appeal. It's never extended beyond the world of gaming like Space Invaders did.
What Street Fighter 2 did for gaming is the equivalent of strapping nitrous oxide to the engine of your motorbike. Millions of people took joystick in hand and bashed buttons courtesy of this, and dare I say it, was the beginning of hardcore gaming as we know it today.
Oh, this is difficult. You've no idea how difficult this is. Oh, but I think if you can imagine a wall without one of these, the one it would be most difficult to imagine it without is Space Invaders. Because it was that innovative icon. It was so pioneering, and it is so universally known throughout the world. And for those reasons, it deserves its place on the Gadget Show's Wall of Fame.
I couldn't have said it better myself.